on earth does that mean?
Like every day, whether it's simply an emoji or it's slang, young people have a unique way of communicating with each other, right? And for many of us parents, it can be tough to decode what is really being said or going on. And joining us now is Emily Weinstein. She's co-director of the Center for Digital Thriving. Also here is Sadie Sutton. She is host of She Persisted, a teen mental health podcast. Welcome to you both. Emily, I'll start with you. We know that teen slang is always evolving. It feels like this generation might even be going even faster because of social media. It changes quickly. How do we keep up as parents?
I don't think we can keep up. So we're gonna need some other strategies. I've talked to thousands of teens about their experiences behind their screens. And one of the things I've learned is that even when we do actually see what they do on their screens, we don't see it as they do. It's kind of like we're in a 3D IMAX movie sitting next to them and they have the glasses on, but we don't. So they're having this really intense experience. They're seeing details we're not, and we miss things and we misunderstand what's going on.
To that end, Sadie, could you walk us through, because emojis are so commonly used, but a lot of times there's subtext that we might miss. Could we talk through some of them?
Absolutely. There's a great example where when you bracket a phrase in sparkle emojis, it makes it sarcastic. So Emily had a great story where she was talking to a teen who showed up at school and her friend was super mad not speaking to her because she had said a message bracketed by emojis, and the meaning was completely misinterpreted.
So this says, like, love this for you. That's a way of saying,
actually,
actually,
like a
don't
hate
love that.
comment a little bit.
Okay, anything else?
A broken heart, we're now using the wilted rose. So these things are rapidly evolving and changing. And
Wait, instead of a broken heart, like emoji, now it's a wilted rose means what?
Like sad, grief, loss.
Oh, I see. That text says, Ryan ghosted. Someone didn't show up for a date. I'm sad. That's helpful for a parent to know, though.
Let's talk about some more digital behaviors beyond emojis. Talk about how teens communicate, like on Snapchat. Let's start there, but also Venmo is big now. What's happening that we're maybe missing as parents?
Yeah, so imagine you open your phone to go and message a friend and you see on Snap Maps all your friends' locations, they're hanging out without you and you know you weren't invited.
Like they're all at a party.
Exactly, and so these experiences are really intense, really emotional, and we have a lot more exposure to these data points that can cause anxiety or depression and loneliness than we previously did.
I think of Venmo as just like paying back my girlfriends on Venmo. Why is that problematic for teenagers sometimes?
Similarly to looking at a Snap Map, imagine you open your Venmo app and you see that all your friends have Venmoed each other for pizza or an Uber and they hung out without you.
Wow. I mean, to that end, the solution is not stop using emojis, stop using Venmo, right? Like, that is too reductive. How can we get teenagers to open up to us and maybe walk us through some of what they're experiencing right here on their phones?
There's an idea I love in my field, which is that there's a lot of pressure on parents to be looking over kids' shoulders, but we're not talking nearly enough about how to make sure teens know that we have their backs. And we really have to do that. We have more than 1 in 3 teens saying that they're not getting the social and emotional support that they need. And this is something that we can change today. We can show up and be the supporters that they're telling us they really need in these moments. And one way we can do that is by validating their feelings when they have these experiences, rather than just going to an eye roll, like get off of Venmo or don't look at Snap Map, actually validating, like, that sounds hard, trying to remember, what did it feel like to be left out? Maybe you never found out you were left out on Venmo, but you can probably remember the feeling of being left out, and it's really hard.
Sure. Yeah, and then Sadie, this is all part of how teens interact with each other, right? How can we maybe encourage them to be more mindful of their interactions and how it's making people feel?
Absolutely. I think it's really important for teens and Gen Z to know that they are critical consumers. We do have the ability to make these decisions, choose what apps we use, be mindful of our experiences. And I think there's real implications for mental health when it comes to our digital lives. Having struggled from severe depression and anxiety, I know that these online behaviors can really amplify our experiences with mental health. And so being mindful of that, asking for support when you need it. And for me, the biggest thing that helped with my relationship with my parents when I was struggling with depression was that validation. And then saying, I may not understand, but I see this is painful and I see you're struggling. And that made all the difference.
I mean, Sadie, to that point, is there something you think maybe parents out there, teachers, caregivers, are missing about getting young people to open up to them?
I think how scary it is. It's incredibly vulnerable. You're worried about rejection and judgment and them just not understanding. I think knowing that you'll go to an adult and not receive judgment, you don't need praise, you don't need to condone the behavior, but say, I see how stressful that is. That's overwhelming. I understand why this is a distressing situation.
A simple way adults can practice this is to try and hold on to the idea of empathy over eye rolling as our default reaction. So when we're talking about tech, teens are pretty much anticipating at this point that adults are going to be judgmental and critical of whatever they're sharing with us. And so leaning into curiosity and trying to practice empathy over eye rolling, that's one way we can take a different approach.
I love that. More heart emojis, less eye roll emojis.
Yes.
to be simplistic about it. Emily Weinstein, Sadie Sutton, thank you both for your insights. Really.